Hi guys! Okay, I am here making a huge mess and I'm loving it. Yeah, so I was watching Tim Holt's live last night and, well, I wasn't watching him live as he was filming. I was busy at that time, so I saved it up and I watched it when I went to bed. And then I had to rewatch it again this morning because I fell asleep. But yeah, and partway through his video, he was showing partway through his live, he was showing the maker's makes, obviously, and he was showing, I believe it was a card, he was showing something off anyway, that one of his makers had done, and she had done it with a stencil. She stamped a stencil, and I'm thinking, how on earth do you do that? So he then reminded us that he's done this before. And what you do is you take your stencil, you ink your stencil, then you spray it with water, and then you use the stencil as a stamp. And I was like, oh, of course, yes, I've seen him do that many times. It just didn't twig. So I then decided I wanted to play, so I'm here making a huge mess. Now, I don't have coloured stamps. The only coloured stamps I have, inks. The only coloured inks I have are archival inks, and as everybody knows, archival inks are waterproof. Therefore, I cannot ink the stencil with these, spray the stencil and have it smush, because they're waterproof. Or at least I don't think I can. So instead, I went upstairs and I grabbed out all of my distress inks, my distress spray inks, distress oxide. So I have one missing. Oh, no, I don't, it's there. Looking in the wrong one. Okay, so yeah, I have a selection of distress spray inks, and I always want to say dispress, so excuse me if I do make a boo-boo and don't realise. So in this one here, these colours pretty much mimic what I have here in my archival ink set, with a few exceptions. So in my archival set, I have barn door, which I don't have in the sprays, so I've swapped it for fired brick. Then I have spiced marmalade, which I do have. Then I have fossilised amber, which I do have. Peeled paint, love that so much in the spray, and that's probably my favourite archival colour. Then faded jeans, have that, love that too. Mermaid lagoon, have that. Then I have in the wrong order, picked raspberry, which I've got there, and then underneath that I have dusty concord, which I don't have in these, so I have swapped it for shaded lilac. Now I could probably swap it for wilted violet, but I like the shaded lilac, so yeah, in there they go. And then in the other archival inks that I have, I have hickory smoke, black soot and ground espresso, which I don't have in this sprays. I have I have iced spruce, walnut stain, vintage photo, antique linen, and antique linen, and yeah, oh no, that's archival. I do have antique linen in normal ink. The rest of the inks over there are just kind of random colours that were left over. Let me pop that back in there. Well, they're not random colours left over. After I'd done them in pretty much my archival palette, so this is what I'm classing as my archival colour range, because I work with them a lot, so I know what them colours look like. Oh, there's my vintage photo archival ink. I knew I had it somewhere. I'll pop that up there right away. These are the colours I had left. That's my water spray bottle, because I keep these upstairs normally. Okay, so I have put them kind of in colour tones here. So I then have abandoned coral, dried marigold, oh, sorry guys for the noise, squeezed lemon, mowed lawn, cracked pistachio, twisted citron, peacock feathers, I love that one, broken china, love that one too, wilted violet, spun sugar, and Victorian velvet. Now, I have to say, the peacock feathers, broken china, spun sugar, and Victorian velvet, them colours are my favourites. I love them colour combinations. They're just gorgeous. Yeah, so there we go. Now, I have already had a play, and what I did I used fired brick, not fried brick. I used the fired brick to get the background. Although, when you look at this, you're not quite sure which is the foreground and which is the background. But the fired brick is the background. And then what I did I used my Tim Holtz lace stencil, and I took my archival vintage photo ink and inked over the top of it to get this. And I love it. I absolutely love it. It'll look great as a tag. Yeah, and like I said, to the eyeline, it's like, which is the front, which is the back? I'm not sure which is which. But I did the fired brick first. Okay, so what I did the fired brick. I've got my glass mat out, and I sprayed the glass mat with the fired brick. Then I did the kind of smushing thing. And then we printed onto there as a stamp. So I did that one. This one was done just with vintage photo distress ink, smushed on the glass mat and done that way, and then stamping with that, and also stencils, different stencils, again different stencils, vintage photo. I love that one. That was vintage photo, again vintage photo. I love how that one turned out, 2 different stencils. That was the mop up from the fired brick, vintage photo, vintage photo, a vintage photo, and there you go. And so it continues, vintage photo. These are mop up sheets. Yeah, vintage photo, another mop up sheet there. That's not too bad actually. Very faint, but it's there, and then a lighter coloured one there. Okay, so that's what I have so far. I have my heat tool out, my heat gun out at the side of me to help the process along quicker. So I'm going to do some with you guys. Okay, now I've already done the fired brick, so we're not going to do that one. Next up, we're going to go with spiced marmalade, and this needs a good shake. So, shaky shake we go. I'm going to put my gloves on, as much as I hate using them. I do have work this weekend. I work in a cafe, so, you know, I can't really be... Oh, sorry guys. I can't really be going to work with inky fingers. Well, I could, but they wouldn't like it much. Although, the customers probably just wouldn't care, because it's like, oh god, there she goes again. Yeah, but I will behave myself. So, let's put the gloves on. Not that it makes any difference, because I'll get it everywhere anyway, and my nails usually poke a hole through the gloves anyway. Okay, so that's relatively mixed up. When you mix, you should never shake up and down, ever. Well, a lot of people do, even I forget and do it, but you're not supposed to shake distress sprays up and down. It clogs the spray nozzle inside. Now when you do that, you're supposed to be able to see like a clear bottom sort of thing. When you shake it up like that, it's supposed to go clear at the bottom. If it doesn't go completely clear, it doesn't really matter. It's mixed enough. It's mixed enough for what I want anyway. But yes, so I'm going to just try not to make too much mess, because this stuff just sprays everywhere. Okay, so we've got a nice scatter in there, and then we're going to spray it with water, pretty much saturate it with water. We're going to use a background stencil, so I'm going to be using this one. I am using just normal printer paper, and then I'm using some artist sketch paper. Okay, so that's nice and bright. Find the side of the stencil that's supposed to be used, which is that side, and then we're going to smush the stencil through the ink like so, like so. Then we're going to pick it up, put that down to just mop up the ink. We're going to actually turn that way, and then you see all that yumminess on the stencil. We're going to put the stencil on the paper, and then I'm going to use just that old face cloth that I've had for ages that I use when I'm crafting. I'm going to put that over the top, just smush it down. And then we're going to remove it, and that is what we're left with. How awesome is that? I'm going to pop that up there. That is wicked. Now I'm going to pop this down that way on there, and just get rid of some of the excess on there, and the same over here. You're probably not going to get a lot off it, but that's fine. And then we'll just wipe the excess off over here. Yep, fairly clean. That's good. And then just kind of mop the rest of that up with the cloth. And then we have a nice background there. And then I'm going to use my heat tool, as I said, because I want to speed this process up a bit. This is going to get noisy, but bear with me. Now when you're drying, your paper tends to curl. If it does that, you just turn it over and heat it from the back. And this is where I take the gloves off and abandon them, because I don't know whether that's dry. That is dry. Okay, so you will still get a bit of curl, but if it curls like that, then you just turn it over and heat it from the back. Now they tell you when you're heating things with a heat gun, never do it directly onto your mat. Anybody using them self-healing mats and what have you, don't do it direct on there. It can warp them. I am using a glass mat. This is not a craft mat, although I believe the craft mats are okay. This isn't a craft mat, this is a glass kitchen chopping board. So it is tempered glass, and it is also heat resistant because it's meant to be in a kitchen. So I don't mind just keeping my stuff on the mat and doing it there. Now this artist paper has a perforation down the side, so I'm going to try and dispose of that. Just get that off, and then we are left with that really awesome background. How cool is that, guys? Now what I notice is when you dry things with a heat gun, you do get these kind of weird bits going on here. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you kind of get those little weird bits going on, and it's where it's soaking into the paper and spreading. But I like that. I don't mind it. It's not awful. But yeah, that is just really cool. So we have another dry one there. I'm going to just dry this, so I'll pop you on board. Okay guys, this is now dry as well, and I'm seeing a dinosaur in this. I don't know about you. yeah, so I'm seeing the dinosaur's head there, the top part of its head, its nose, and there, and then its body here, maybe feet or whatever here, and then its tummy there with arms here. Yeah, anyway, I'm seeing a dinosaur. That's what happens when you have a dinosaur crazed grandchild. But also I've been binge watching Jurassic Park. So, well, I say binge watching. One of the movie channels has taken over, like they do every now and then with Harry Potter, and play that non-stop. So at the moment they've taken over one of the channels and they're just constantly playing the Jurassic Park films one after another, because the release of the new one's out. So I'm going to keep these together like this. So we've got that, and then we've got that and that. And we're basically just going to work our way through the sprays, doing the same thing, but with different stencils. So, gloves back on for the spraying part. I'm going to have to stop taking them off like that because they get inside out and then it takes me forever to get them back on. Okay, so next piece of paper at the ready. This is the artist's paper that I'm using, sketch pad. So I'm just going to pull a couple more off. Ready? Whoops. That's okay because we discard that anyway. So let's pop that up there out the way. So get those ready. Okay, so what are we going to use next? Let's use this one. I love this one. And next we're going to use fossilised amber. Okay, there we go. Fairly clear bottom. Yep. Which means it's mixed okay. So spray away. Oops. And spray in the spritz. Right, so through that with the stencil. Don't think it matters which way it goes. Yes, it does, it's that way. Right, so this way. So smush the stencil through that. Pick up as much as we can. Oh yes, that's well and truly smushed. Right, so plain paper on, artist paper on, stencil on. Alright guys, and then just pat it down like so. Remove stencil. Oh, love it. Pop that to one side. Stencil, because there's still some on. So we could even reactivate that even more by spraying again. So we could turn over and stencil up there. Spritz and spray what's left of it, and a stencil there as well. Yeah, get back on there. Oh, love that. Like so. Didn't get much off that, that's fine. Let's spray a bit more of that. Let's do a bit more smooshing. This is just normal print paper, so I'm kind of being a bit careful. I don't want it to rip, but I also don't really want to waste anything. That's enough of that, so give it another little spray and wipe off. Okay, oh sorry, and wipe the stencil as well. Not that I'm bothered about contaminating colours between, but nice if you get the majority of it off. There we go. Okay, so you can see this is almost dry already, but I'm going to help it along with the heat tool. Okay, that one's dry. I'm going to do this one. Okay guys, so this one's done. We'll just get rid of that. I love this one. Alright, so yeah, it goes that way. I love that one too. And there's the paper. So that's a good one. Alright, the next one is peeled paint. That'll do. I'm going to spray on there. Spritz with water. Right, which background are we going to use? We'll use this one again. I really like this background. Okay, so we'll spritz that with water. Smoosh. We will smush that with water. We will get that on there. Then we'll get the artist paper there. And on it goes. Oh, bum. I forgot to put my gloves on. Never mind. Whoopsie. Okay. Oh, love it. Alright. So just do a bit of spritz on there. Get that off on there. That'll do. Spray and like, oh yeah, I shouldn't be doing this. I should be using tissue paper. Didn't think of that. Okay, and then that is pretty much done. Nice and clean. Okay. Alright, you know the drill, but I will spare you watching that again. Okay, so that's the peeled paint one. Love it. And that's the little wipe off sheet. Love that as well. Which way did we do it? That one. Okay, loving that combination as well. So we've got, let's put these together and these together actually. So, yeah, which one were which? That was that one, weren't it? Was it? Oh, that was that one. Right, so that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one, then the peeled paint. then the paint paint. Next one is Faded Jeans. Now I'm just going to do this one like I've been doing the others, and then all the other ones, I've got 1, 2, 3, well, I've got 3 to do actually. I don't think I'll do every single colour. I will just do them all in one and then come back to show you how they turned out after. There we go. Okay, so gloves on. Because what I'll do is I will spray them all and do the smushy thing and the stencil thing, and then I'll put them all to the side next to me, well, on the floor at the back of me. And then when I've finished doing all the colours, then I will just go through them all with the heat tool. Okay, so this is Faded Jeans. I like this one. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to use this one again. Actually, no, I'm going to use this one. I really like this one. So let's make sure it's the right way, which is this one. Okay, let's get that smushing. Get all that smushing going on. Get that down. The sketch paper. Put that on. Oh yes, I really like that. Alright. Activate some more of that. Get that on there. So let's just try something here. Let's just try a bit of a spritz through the stencil. Ooh, liking that. And then let's wipe that. Oops. Let's wipe that through the stencil. Like that. Okay. Yes, I really like that. Alright, so I'm going to pop that on the floor behind me so that it can dry. I'm also going to put the big light on because it's gone very dark in here all of a sudden. I'll put my sewing machine away because that's over here in the way now from the last project that I did. And as I said, I will get these other ones done off camera. I'll do them in bulk and then I'll come back and show you what they're like when they're all finished. Okay guys, I have done, I just stuck with the main colours, so we'll go through the stack again and I will tell you which colours that I used. I'm loving them, absolutely loving them. Okay, so this one is Fired Brick, and again I used the Distress Oxide spray. So this one is Fired Brick, and as I said before, when I first started the video. This one, the fired brick background, was used first, and then I stenciled over it with archival ink vintage photo. And I love the fact that you can't necessarily tell with this one which is the background and which is the foreground. But yeah, but I do love that. And I used the lace stencil by Tim Holtz. The stencils that I have been using throughout have been these background stencils that I got. I got these on eBay. Not eBay at all, sorry. I got them on Amazon a while back. Okay, so I've got this one. This one, this is my favourite. I love it so much. It's kind of like a proper collage grunge. And this one. It doesn't really matter which way it goes. And that one. Okay. Those are the backgrounds that I've used. And then, like I said, I used this lace stencil from Tim Holtz. So I used it in this. And then I've used it in one of these as well. So that's what I have used. And these are just normal 80 GSM printer paper. These have been printed onto this sketch pad paper, 130 GSM high quality white cartridge paper. It's artist sketch pad. Okay, so these are going to be more vibrant than these because this has been like proper sketch paper, watercolour type paper. So, but I don't mind. I really don't mind. I love them so much. Okay, so as I said, that's that one. No bleed through on the back, that just excess was that. So that's how that one turned out. That's that one, and then that came through the back. Let's pop it to the bottom of the pile. Okay, this one was the spiced marmalade distress spray, which is awesome. Very, very bright and vibrant. Love it. Sorry, it's upside down. I'm thinking that's not right. Also, completely my doing, the way I was using the stencils, I actually printed some of these back to front. Not realising. What I should have been doing were doing the stencil the opposite way so that when I came to print it down it would be the right. Anyway, yeah, my bad, but I'm really not even fussed about that because they're not all going to be the right way anyway when I've finished cutting them up. But yeah, that is the spiced marmalade. I love it. What I found were as well, the next one in the thing is fossilised amber. Yeah, it's fossilised amber. And I've found that, or to my eyes anyway, that the spiced marmalade and fossilised amber aren't all that different in colour tones. This one maybe, well, this one may be just a lean, well, that one's a teensy bit brighter. You can tell on these, this has got a bit more orange in it, but I can't really tell much of a difference on this paper. But anyway, so this one was the spiced marmalade. Still seeing a dinosaur in that. This one is the fossilised amber. Love it. Yeah, so move you. Again, the background that I used. Love it. I really like this one. This is this one, my favourite one. See, and I printed it back to front. I printed it that way. It should have actually gone that way. But never mind. You can't really tell anyway, but I really like that. Okay, so that's that one. And that's that one. That just looks like a big globby mess, but I don't mind that either. This is peeled paint, one of my favourites in the archival ink that I have. I also love it in the distress. Love, love, love. One of my favourite backgrounds as well. This one. I love that one. Yep, so that was that one. And that was it on there. This is Faded Jeans, another one that I really like in the archival range. I have these colours in archival inks, as I've said before, so I know what these colours are like. Yes, love it. I really do love it, despite the fact it's back to front, but I don't care because them are actually the right way and the others are going off anyway. But yeah, I really love that colour. Has like a purple tone to it. Now I do have a bit of pink on this, but that's my fault because when I'd done that one, the picked raspberry one, and put it on the floor, a bit of it landed on here, so I picked up a bit of that. But yeah, what I started doing here, is it this one? Yes, now what I started doing with these last ones, because I did the other ones on camera with you, what I started doing with these ones were, after doing the main one, so this one, I mean, we did the whole smush on the mat, put that down, well, put it down that way, picked it up, put that on top, printed, take the stencil off, put that to one side, turn it over, lay it down. Right, so that was what was left after spraying the stencil. Then what I did, I put the stencil on the paper and I used the spray to spray through the stencil whilst it was on the paper. So we got more of a pattern on that, and it automatically left a line there from where the stencil were. But that's pretty cool because if you've just fold that in half, you've got a page there. Awesome. So yeah, I'm liking that effect. Got a bit of ripples in the paper when I was drying it, but I don't mind that. So yeah, that is the Faded Jeans one. I really like that. I like how it came through on the back as well. That's actually the right way. But we don't mind that either. Again, some of the picked raspberry ended up on this. This is the Mermaid Lagoon. I love this one. Really love this one. Sorry about the lighting, guys. It's like 9 PM now and it's a bit rubbish. That way. Yeah, that way. And again, the stencil's back to front, but I'm not bothered. It's back to front on this here, but I really don't mind. But yeah, so there's the Mermaid Lagoon one. Love, love, love that. And then that. In the same way, I did the ink smush first, then I did what was left on the stencil there, and then I put the stencil on there and sprayed through it. Cool. Awesome. Then we have Picked Raspberry. I love this colour. Love this colour. So we have Picked Raspberry. And for this one, I used the lace stencil. Instead of the backgrounds, I used the lace stencil. So, and I did remember to turn this the right way, although it wouldn't have mattered for this stencil. Because it would have just been that way instead. But yeah, that is just where that was laid on top whilst they were drying, in the pile waiting to be dried. But I like that colour as well. But yes, I love that. Gorgeous. And then of course the smushy bit after, so the big blob in the middle is where we picked it up on the mat. This here is where, when we finished with the stencil, we put it on there, and then that is where I put the stencil over and sprayed through the stencil. Love it. Nice, bright and cheerful. Nice on the back as well. And then last but not least, and this is gorgeous, this is the Shaded Lilac. I really like this one. It's more of a pastel tone is this one. Very toned down, very muted and toned down. I really like this one. One of my favourites. Well, who am I kidding? All three of them are my favourites, but I really like that one. I love this. It could be that way, it could be that way. It doesn't matter which way. But yes, so that's that one. And then again with the smushing side of things, I don't even know which way with this one. I think it was that way. I'm not sure. But we got the ink smushing. Yeah, it was that way. And then print off sort of thing. And I didn't spray through this one. I don't think, did I? No, I don't think I did spray through this one. I can't remember because there were quite a lot of this still left on the mat, so I think I just picked it up and dotted it around, like smushed it and dotted it, re-wet the stencil and did it again, so you've got some partial ones here. I just tried to cover as much surface area as I could. I probably did put the stencil back on and spray through because it's a bit darker there than it is anywhere else, but this just dried very neutral, well, very toned down, but also the Distress oxides, which is what these are, and you know, the sprays, the ink pads, anything oxide, yeah, oxide, that didn't sound right. Anything oxide dries, what do they call it? Is it opaque? Yeah, opaque. It's a bit chalky. So, yeah. And all this pinky bit around the edges that you can see is this. It's not because it's been touching anything else, it is this. When you're drying it and it dries on its own and it kind of fades out and you get these different colour tones. Really nice. And then on the back you've almost got a completely different colour, even though it's the same colour, just soaked through into the back. But it's the exact same colour, but look at the two different tones. Gorgeous. But yeah, so there you go. So we've got kind of the spectrum going on there and some awesome backgrounds to be playing with now. So I'm going to pop them in my pile with my other things. Yeah, them two definitely. I think definitely them two will be used at some point in the bee journal that I've got coming up at some point when I've got time. Maybe them 2 pages as well. Incorporate them as pages or backgrounds or something. But yeah, but there you go, guys. So I had really good fun playing. I do have, like I said, loads more colours that I haven't even touched. I've got all this here with all these colours that I didn't even touch on. And then, of course, I've got the neutrals here that I didn't even use. But yeah, so I'm not going to do that on camera either, but at some point I might do the same. I might do that and add to this collection. But I really enjoyed doing that, and yeah, I love the colours as well. Love like rainbow. But yeah, so I had loads of fun. I hope you've had fun joining with, well, watching with me. I hope you have a play as well. As I said, it's I just wanted to play after watching Tim Holtz last night, and something that he mentioned, because he spotted it on a card that one of his makers had done, and I was like, I need to do that. So I did, yeah. So I need to do that. That's what I need to do. When I see something, I think, I need to do that. I need to actually come and do it, instead of just saying, I need to do that, and then put it on my to-do list and never do it. I've got a list, like, probably a full book of those need to do's, and never got around to doing them yet. But yeah, so anyway, please give it a go, guys, and have fun while you do. And you know, you don't have to use the sprays at all. I used the sprays because I don't have ink pads. I do have ink pads, but my ink pads, the only ones that I have, like I said originally, are Vintage Photo, Antique Linen, Frayed Burlap, and I think it's Ground Espresso or Walnut Stain. Can't think off the top of my head. Walnut Stain. Them are the only distress inks that I had that would have done the same thing. The rest of them are archival inks, and of course they're not waterproof, so it wouldn't have done the smushing. I could have sprayed the stencil, well, I could have inked the stencil with it, but then they wouldn't have smushed like that. I mean, I could have even put them on here, but as soon as you add water to them, they don't do anything. I've made that mistake before, but I did use my vintage photo ink pad to do some smushing and the same kind of stenciling earlier on. That was when I had a play with that side. That's when I had a play with Sharpie markers, trying to do the same thing, and it just weren't vibrant enough. But yeah, so this was the exact same thing, but with the distress inks, smushing it on the no, sorry, I wiped it over the stencil and then sprayed the stencil and did the same thing. So I got that, which I love. I got that. Got that one. I really like these. Then I got that. That is really cool. Love that. Then I got that one. I really like that too. This one. This one. That one. And then they were just very, very faint ones. Just mop-ups. But yeah, so I got those as well, which is pretty cool. So I'll add those to the bottom of that pile because I'm pleased with those too. But yeah, so I will love you and leave you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had fun. Get your stencils out, guys, and have a go. It is fun. It makes a hell of a mess if you're using oxide sprays with no... I should have put some paper and stuff over there because it's just got everywhere now. Yeah, lovely. You know, unintentional decorating. Fabulous. Anyway, I will love you and leave you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, stay safe, and I will speak to you all again soon. Bye! Hi guys, quickly before I go, I forgot about these. I just turned to put everything away and I was like, oh, my napkins, my tissues. Yeah, they were hanging over the bin to dry. These were mop-ups and I've just whipped over them with the heat tool. And yeah, so there you go. We've got some groovy napkins as well now to use when we, you know, decoupaging or whatever, and the 2-ply as well, so that it's gone through to both sides, so that's cool. So technically we've got 2 of those. So we'll have 2 of these as well, because again, like I said, there's 2 sheets. Yeah, so that side and that side, which is cool. And then this one too, love this one, the stencil one. And again, like I said, pull them apart and there's 2, so there's that side and that side. There you go, guys. Cool. So we got napkins out of it as well, homemade decoupage napkins as well. So yay. Right, I'm going. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.